Hello, hello. How are we doing this evening? I've not played Coldwaters in a minute. I've not played Coldwaters in a minute. It is, it's an interesting game. It's a submarine simulator. So it's not everybody's cup of tea. I really enjoy it. It has a lot of replayability because the missions are random. But it's a game you do need to quickly expand with some mods. And there's some great mods out there. We're going to be playing the dot mod today. We played quite a bit of the epic mod on stream. We've only played the dot mod a couple times. Make sure we got downscaling. Unfortunately, I can't click off of the game without it minimizing, so I apologize for that. It doesn't have like a windowed full screen. Just trying to see. Okay, there's no sound at this point, so we'll go ahead and put on some music. At least get that started so we don't have to do that, interrupt too much. All right, let's see. I want to do some South China Sea stuff. We don't have anything there. Well, let's start. I kind of just want to play a Seawolf. The Seawolf kind of in the South China Sea is kind of head empty. Like you're pretty ridiculously powered. The Seawolf is a American submarine. It is it's Cold War era submarine. It was developed towards the end of the Cold War. Well, not the end. It was actually, honestly, the development started kind of in the height of the Cold War. It was deployed towards the end of the Cold War, and it's an absolute monster. It was canceled. We canceled during the Reagan administration. I think it was. We were going to build, I think, 32 of these things. We only built 3. They're very, very powerful. They're used right now as in some of the like more advanced spy missions. Hello, Jinx, welcome in. Dropping by to say hi, but I'll be lurking. Welcome. Friends, do check out Jinx Gaming. She's also a streamer. She is a camera streamer. She plays a lot of first-person shooter games as well as Phasmophobia. We got to play Phasmo with Jinx a few times. She also is a VTuber as well. She does both cam and VTubing. So do check out Jinx. Need to find a better way to do this. Need to update my shout out command. Yeah. It's like in that shout out, she's playing. Is that Luigi's Mountain? Yeah, Luigi's Mansion, I think. Welcome. Enjoy your lurk. And yeah, we'll have to play some Phasma together. I will be streaming it tomorrow, I think. Yeah. I don't have a schedule out. I apologize for not having a schedule out. It's been an interesting week for me. But yeah, do check out Jinx and enjoy your lurk. Maybe we'll see Jinx streaming later tonight. Yeah, we have the music was for a second very appropriate for the Luigi's Mountain clip. Luigi's Mansion, not mountain. He doesn't have a mountain. He has a mansion. But yeah, the Seawolf was a very, very high-end submarine that we developed during the Cold War, deployed towards the end of the Cold War. It's used right now for some of our most, it's part of a submarine development squadron that does some of our most covert missions. It's made up of the USS Seawolf, the lead of the class, the USS Jimmy Carter, and the USS Connecticut. It carries an absolute arsenal of weapons. It has 8 torpedo tubes. It's our only submarine with this many. Well, only modern submarine. Older submarines, World War II fleet submarines would often have a large number of torpedo tubes. But most of our current submarines field 4 tubes. This fields 8 tubes and like a double deck torpedo room. So it's got a massive torpedo room with, I think this game has 48 stores. I think in reality it has 50 stores for weapons, which is absolutely massive for tube launch weapons. It has a huge array of weapons it can carry: tomahawks, torpedoes, mines, which if it carries mines, it can carry more than 50. And modern mines are an absolute menace, because modern mines are generally encapsulated torpedoes. So they're torpedoes that we tethered to the bottom of the ocean. We can shoot them out of torpedo tubes. They can swim out to their target, and then they tether themselves to the floor of a harbor. And in that encapsulated weapon is another torpedo that will sit there, listen for whatever it is we want to target, and it'll launch a torpedo. It'll launch a torpedo. So it's a torpedo within a torpedo that tethers itself like a mine. So it's a very, very potentially devastating weapon, and it can carry a whole boatload of those. So more than 50 of those if it was doing a mining operation. But yeah, torpedoes, it can carry strike missiles, it can carry anti-ship missiles, pretty much everything except for ballistic missiles. And it's constantly being upgraded. It's a massive, massive submarine with a lot of extensibility. It can dive extremely deep. Test depth is over 1,900 feet, which the contemporary submarines of its time, the test depth was around 1,400 feet. Yeah, absolutely awesome submarine. Let's get into it. Well, actually, let's look at the stats. So 9,100 tons, very heavy. I want to say, like, was it 6,000 tons was the Los Angeles? Flight through 6,009, flight 1, okay, 6,009. So 6,009 tons on the Flight 3 Los Angeles, which preceded the Seawolf. Actually, I think the Flight 3 was it was actually the original Los Angeles that preceded Seawolf. The subsequent flights were developed concurrently with Seawolf. They have the max depth on this as 1,200 feet. Its test depth is deeper. But yeah, significantly heavier than previous submarines. It was also made with higher tensile steel, so its steel can survive deeper depths. Russia's submarines could dive considerably deeper. I don't think we have any in this mod, in this scenario that we could play as. But typically Russian submarines can dive deeper, because a lot of their submarines weren't made of steel. They were made of titanium alloy. So there would be steel as well as titanium and other very strong materials, which would allow them to dive very, very deep. Russia, oh, what just happened? Ooh, I just locked up here. Hold up, what's going on? Russia had access to a lot of titanium. Why? What the heck? My gaming PC decided to lock up on me. I apologize. Let me get that restarted. That should keep this. That will not affect the stream. So bear with me 1 minute while I fix this. It's so weird. Yeah, my whole gaming PC just locked up. So I run a dual PC setup. So, yeah, I have a streaming PC which runs the stream and a gaming PC which runs the game. Apologize again, chat, for that. We'll get back up and running here in just a moment. So we get to listen to this nice BGM instead of whatever it was we were listening to before. Okay. Getting started up here again. This will take me just a moment. This scene was actually done by Jinx Gaming. She was in here a little bit earlier. Yeah, this scene, it's not her typical thing. She doesn't generally do scenes. She did this one for us, and she did a very phenomenal job. Very phenomenal. So yeah, do check out Jinx. One of our artists here. Oh, come on, Windows. For whatever reason, Windows is deciding not to put my my main display on my main display. Instead, it's setting my main display to actually my capture card. Lovely. That is a real pain to fix. Okay, I don't know if it... Give me 1 second. There we go. The reason is I need that to be my main display. Yeah, it's weird. Sorry. It's one of the problems of dual PC streaming. It can be a little bit weird. It is nice because it affords you a lot of horsepower to use. So I can run my model. In theory, I can run other models. So if I'm doing a collab without having to worry about performance that much. Get everything back up, all my tabs back up. My music back. Windows is Windows, so it doesn't like to save my audio settings. Which is absolutely lovely. That's fine. Oh. Once. Just about back, chat. Just about back. Apologies again. Okay, hopefully that does not happen again. One more thing to do here. That should do it now. Right. All right, again, I apologize for that. I had to reboot my gaming computer, which is a bit of a chore. Let's get right into Seawolf. We have another crash. We might play something else. I do want to play. It's been a long time since I've played this. All right, so this is a campaign. We are fighting in the South China Sea 2000 era. We're not going to go through the whole campaign, like what leads up to it, but basically, things go awry between the United States and China. So they send us out there to take care of business, which is pretty. There's going to be a lot of submarines are kind of the battleships of modern combat. They're going to be responsible for a lot of the in World War II. The submarine was one of the highest tonnage sinking vessels in terms of sinking enemy ships. Submarines accomplished that, but they weren't really sinking a whole lot of warships. Now, in modern battle, you're going to see submarines, if there's a great power war, you're going to see submarines sinking a lot of warships. So let's see, what do we got here? So NavOps plans to forestall new enemy operations by hitting warships in port. And the port facilities themselves. You are hereby ordered to sail within 100 miles of Shantou in order to launch at least 8 TLAM missiles at this target. So we need to load some Tomahawk land attack missiles. Let's see. We have 4 Mosses. We have 8 TLAMs, 8 TASMs. TASMs are the anti-ship variant of the Tomahawk. We're going to take fewer of those. We also don't need this many harpoons. Harpoons are great. They're high performance anti-ship missiles. They're a bit older. They're a bit older, but they're still probably going to be effective. We saw the Moskva was a Russian ship that was recently sunk by Neptune missiles, which are very, very similar. Very, real similar to the Harpoon. It's actually a Soviet copy of the Harpoon. All right, so we have 18 plus 8, 26 add caps torpedoes. Perfect. I'm actually going to take 2 fewer Mosses, and I'm going to take 2 extra Tomahawks in case we mess up our Tomahawk strike. All right, let's go. First of all, let's get a save in. It has us spawning out in Guam, which we'd probably be able to base out of Okinawa, or even potentially Subic Bay. So yeah, Guam is very far, but it's a very important U.S. Navy base. All right, so we need to go to Shantou and conduct a Tomahawk strike. Oh, we just got counter detected there. Doubly counter detected. All right. We have a new sonar contact bearing 218 Sierra 1 designated. We're at 50 feet. At a heading of 285. So they should be kind of in front of us, slightly to the left. Sorry. Yeah, slightly to the left. We're going 5 knots. There's no lair, so we don't have anywhere to hide. We're close to the coast, though, or close to the shore. So we should have some good evasion. We're gonna load in a moss, which is a decoy. And let's load in some harpoons. Anubis, hello. Welcome in. We're playing some Coldwaters for the first time in a while. We'll go with 2 mosses, 2 harpoons, 4 AdCap torpedoes. I hope you're well. We don't need to get close, so we're going to stay as far away as we can. We're going to stay at 25,000 yards. It goes well. It goes well. It goes all right, actually. Not too well. It goes all right. I need to move my model, though. I just realized that I'm going to be over the UI. Nope, that's not the right button. That's not the right button. Okay. We'll see how that is. We might need to adjust the UI a little bit because it looks kind of huge. But we're streaming, so that's all good. Close to 20. What? Maybe I can't do that here?
Bearing 07.
Con, less than 50 feet below the keel.
Con sonar lost contact.
Okay, yeah, put us right in the middle of it all.
078. Contact faded.
Also, the UI is just massive. Oh yeah, things are getting, yeah, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. I've just had kind of a rough little bit of rough little go at it. Let's see, okay. Oh, we're very high resolution. I don't want to change that, but I'm going to anyway. So hopefully this doesn't crash the game. No, we're gonna leave. We're gonna leave the resolution. We are gonna adjust the HUD size down to there. Is that readable? Is that seeable? Oh, I can't see now. Let me know if that doesn't look good on stream if you can't see the HUD. Actually, that looks pretty small. Let's boost it up a little bit. Let's try there. Yeah, that looks better, I think.
Con sonar new contact bearing 276. Designated
all right.
Sierra 3.
One problem with one problem with these Tomahawk strike missions is it just drops you off so close to the shore, which makes no sense. Savage, hello. All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start a turn here. We're gonna come to heading 200,
Come left to
and we'll get a quick shout out.
Helm I.
Savage, it is good to see you. I hope you're well. Yeah, no worries. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. We're hanging in there. I assume that you're back. Haven't seen too many streams lately, but it's good to see you're back at it. Not this clip. Clippers be out here. All right, so let's see what we're doing here. So we need to launch a tomahawk
Con sonar new
attack
contact
against this
bearing
base.
199 designated Sierra 4.
We are in the middle of 3 warships. We can tell by their pinging. Those yellow lines coming off their ships is them actively pinging us. It only shows sonar from warships. It also shows helicopters. We have a helicopter out here. Or is that a helicopter? Yeah. The helicopter. See, this helicopter's got 2 torpedoes and it's got a dipping array. Shouldn't be too terribly effective using its dipping sonar, but it's got a lot of different ways it can contact, or it can find us. And since we're in such shallow water, if we get found, we're probably dead. Turn down the music a tiny little bit. All right. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that we're not in a detectable, that we don't get detected. Not that it matters, but I don't want them to get a solution on us. We're going to shoot all our missiles and we're just going to run. Honestly, we could actually do that. Actually, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. When we get to deep water, we cannot get to deep water. So what we're going to do actually is we're going to retract our towed array, which is this long spaghetti string looking thing coming off the back of our ship. It's doing us no good in these shallow waters, so we're going to reel this back in. It's a massive sonar sensor. Massive sonar sensor. We're going to reel this in, and we're going to actually just go ahead and start loading tomahawks. Is that a tomahawk? No. There we go. We're just going to start loading tomahawks. I'm going to leave 1 moss. And once we're fully loaded, I'm going to launch the moss. Load the final tomahawk. Shoot our tomahawks and then just run. We'll reload some missiles and yeah, this is gonna be interesting because we're in such shallow water. So yeah, our aim is to attack this base up here, but for whatever reason the game put us right smack and dab in the middle of a enemy fleet in very, very shallow water. The thing about a tomahawk is they have a very long range. You can shoot a tomahawk for 1,500 nautical miles. And probably what you do is you try to get closer, like within maybe 500 nautical miles, by your tomahawks, so that they can kind of maneuver and they can come in at an angle where they're going to be least detectable by the air defenses. So maybe you can go inland somewhere else where there's not much air defense and have them attack from some place they're not gonna see. All right, so it's going to take us a minute to load these missiles, so we'll get these loaded. We want to pull in our towed array so it doesn't get damaged in this attack. Is it not? Oh, is it not back? Trying to see if the towed array is actually getting retracted or looks like it's getting deployed. Towed array can't be deployed. I don't want it deployed. Yeah, we'll compress some time. I don't know what's going on here.
Torpedo room, tube 3 ready.
Con sonar Sierra 2 is
Oh.
classified as escort.
We can't retract it because we are too shallow, I think, maybe.
Con torpedo
It's
room,
dumb.
tube 5
Con sonar, Sierra 3 is classified as escort.
We go down a little bit?
Con, torpedo room.
Con, less than 50 feet below the keel.
Yeah.
Con sonar.
Con, dive at 100
Nope.
feet.
So we're just going to lose the
dive
tow array. That's silly.
high. Make depth 9 feet, dive high. Con, dive at 9 feet, dive high.
All right, that's just silly. So we have 1, 2, 3 warships. So we're going to shoot our towed array in the direction of one of our warships, kind of. Be a little bit. We'll go, we'll shoot at 180. We'll activate at 2005. That should give us enough time to get a Tomahawk reloaded. So we need to fire 8 Tomahawks at this target.
Con, less than 50 feet below the keel.
I'm going to fire all 8 Tomahawks at the target. And then we are going to run and probably die, honestly. Oh, please tell me I loaded the right missile. I did not. I'm dumb. Let's reload. And press some time. Here we go. So let's start shooting.
Shoot 2-1. Aye, sir.
Con, torpedo room. Tube 7 ready.
Shoot 2-3. Aye, sir. Shoot 2-5. Aye, sir.
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 3, bearing 3, 2, 1.
Shoot 2-8. Aye, sir. Upscope.
So we don't need to do that.
Make turn. Con sonar, we are cavitating.
So we're gonna go ahead and just go up to our flank speed and just start running. And we're gonna reload
Con sonar.
Moss.
Contact. Sierra 4. Last
Torpedo.
bearing 1,
Wait, is it a
7,
torpedo?
1.
Yeah, torpedo.
Contact faded.
And I think the rest are just gonna be harpoons.
Array has been damaged.
Yeah, we know the towed array has been damaged because we couldn't retract it. That's okay. Let's see if this strike actually works. Hopefully it does. Alright, we see the counterfire coming from the other ships, so they're going to start shooting at us. We're just going to keep just trucking. This Tomahawk is very, very high up. It should drop down to, like, surface level, so as to get detected. It'll hang out up here to, Did this not work? For its, like, best, like, cruise? Okay, there we go. That was... I don't know if that hit. Did it hit? No, it didn't. Crap. So, I may have messed up this strike. Oh, there we go.
Con, torpedo room. Tube 4 ready.
So it looks like one weapon missed. I don't know where to aim these weapons, to be honest. See, some of them are hitting dirt. Looks like almost all of them hit dirt, so we're going to fail this mission anyways. That sucks.
Con maneuvering, making turns for 3, 5 knots.
Can we just leave? No, we can't. There's vessels nearby.
Make turn. Con sonar, no longer cavitating. Make turn. Make turns for 3, 5. Con sonar, we are cavitating. Con sonar lost contact. Make
I'm gonna go ahead and
Con
attack
sonar,
this
no longer cavitating.
ship.
Con sonar regained. Make turns for 3, 5. Con sonar, we are cavitating.
Drop the
Con,
torpedo right here.
Tube 1 ready.
Hopefully it doesn't see us. If it does, we're kind of screwed.
Con sonar, torpedo
Yeah, we
in
are.
the water. Torpedo in the water. Bearing 118. Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 2, last bearing 158. Contact faded. Con fire control, we've lost the wire.
Yeah, it has absolutely no intention of leaving us alone.
Knuckle formed.
So this is kind of a bad mission to start with, unfortunately. That's okay. We're good. We might have to build a new ship here right off the bat.
Con, knuckle formed. Con, knuckle formed.
Trying to dodge this missile desperately, or this torpedo desperately, but there isn't a whole lot we can do, to be honest.
Come left to 003. Helm I.
Trying to get it to see this moss, but I don't know if it's going to. Yeah, it's not going to.
Con, helm, steady course.
Con, torpedo room, tube 3 ready.
Con, knuckle formed.
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 3, bearing 331. Make turns for 0 knots.
We're gonna try something. We're gonna
No longer
try to bottom out this ship and just land in the mud
Con sonar regained contact
and see if that
on
can save us.
Sierra 2, bearing 1. Make turns.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Con
This would
sonar
definitely
lost
damage the
contact.
ship.
Sierra 3, last bearing 331. Contact faded.
So we're just gonna try to hide in the mud. Uh-oh. There's a plane nearby. Okay, let's see if it sees us. Let's see if it sees us. Don't see me? Do not perceive? I think it sees us. Yep. Definitely sees us.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 15.
Con, officer damaged. Unable to contain the flooding.
Okay, this is fine. This is fine. Reactor's damaged. Let's
Damage control
fix.
marks. Lead of the reactor space. Con, the reactor has scrammed.
Stop the engines. What? I can't stop the engines. Okay. We're fine, we're fine. Let's fix the reactor. We're for some reason stuck in reversing the engines. That's weird.
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 4, bearing 164.
Alright, we gotta attack against this ship, so
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 157.
let's get our reactor fixed, we'll get our pumps fixed, and we will... I don't know what we do. We just die. There's really nothing we can do here. Where's this torpedo going? Surely it's not going after this Moss. This Moss is 1,000,000 miles away. Unbelievable. And watch it come and latch on us. All right, so we've already failed this mission, to be honest. So I don't really feel like staying latched onto this mission. We're just gonna abandon ship. We're gonna start a new mission up. This is gonna be no fun waiting for that to be over, and really no way to do anything. We could actually just reload it. Let's try this again. Let's see if it gives us a better spawn, because that was a terrible spawn. Okay. Let's not get counter detected here. And we got counter detected anyways. That's okay. This will be a little bit better. Let's load again. Mosses. And some harpoons. Why not a TASM? Let's close to 20,000 yards. We're at, we have a new sonar contact bearing 1. Our heading is bearing 8-1, so it should be to our left, almost 90 degrees, not quite. Well, like 80 degrees actually, to our left. Moderate thermal air at 129 feet, strong surface duct. That's very good.
On sonar, new contact bearing 097, designated Sierra 1.
Let's get down below the layer.
Con sonar, new contact.
Ultra quiet.
Ultra quiet.
Con sonar, new contact.
Interesting that there's so many contacts in front of us. It said the contact was
Sierra 3.
1, but it's actually in front of us.
Con sonar, new contact bearing 107, designated Sierra 4. Con sonar, new contact bearing 061, designated Sierra 5.
All right, we're gonna come down to
Contact
180
Sierra 1,
feet.
last bearing 097, contact faded.
160. 170. I'm looking over here at the left panel. $175 and we'll go to 180 right here. We have a pretty sizable number of ships.
Sierra 1, bearing 098. Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 1, last bearing 098. Contact.
Okay, on this bearing and on this bearing we have a warship pinging us. Is Sierra 4 pinging us? We'll see a yellow band heading back from the ship. Doesn't look like it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn 90 degrees to the left. We're at what, 81? So we're gonna come to, we'll just come actually to bearing 0. Speed up to 8 knots.
Make turns for 8 knots. Maneuvering eye. Come left to 000.
We'll turn the ship left. We'll deploy our array so we can pick these guys up, hopefully a little bit better. But I want to start a turn now. When we're like completely parallel to them, that'll actually make it easier for them to detect us with their active if they're close enough, because we'll be presenting our entire ship profile to them. But I'm betting we're far enough away.
Regained contact on. Sierra 1, bearing 0.
It also, doing this will get our lateral arrays on them. So these are sonar arrays on the side of our ship. This will give us better resolution on those arrays. We'll still have good resolution on our bow array because it's a huge array and it's spherical, so it can hear from all sides. We'll also deploy our towed array.
Sierra 1, last bearing 0.
So that'll give us a lot of sensors on them. Go ultra quiet. We'll start deploying our towed array. Which in this game, I think as soon as you hit it, it starts actually giving you data. It would need to be fully deployed and stabilized before it really give you any usable data. So if we look at one of these contacts, I should be able to select them. And yeah, so we have a lot of sound from Sierra 3, from our towed array and our passive system. So it shouldn't take too long to identify these ships. I'm going to configure our torpedoes for active and surface attack. So I'm doing down here in the bottom right hand corner. And we're also going to hydrate real fast. Let's see. How's the music volume? Is the music volume good? Let me check that real fast while we're classifying. There's a lot of ships here. Holy crap. Jeez. I was listening to must be one of those underwater ghosts from Davy Jones Lockhart. I was listening to stream sound. Welcome in, man. Oh, is that the wrong? Oh, derp. Hello, hello. Actually, I think the music volume's good. The music volume's pretty darn good. Welcome in. Thank you for the the ghost breathing. We're playing a little Coldwaters. We haven't played Coldwaters in a minute. Been lurking, playing some nice Deep Rock Galactic. Well, listen, let's go. We'll be playing some Phasmo, I think, tomorrow. Maybe I may knock out. You know, I might actually play a really late stream. Well, not really late, but late for me. I might play a late stream for me of The Walking Dead. So it'll be later than when I normally start because I have a work thing tomorrow night. And from what I read, the Michonne chapter is only like an hour something long. So I don't really want to do that on a Saturday because, well, maybe we will. Maybe we will. But I think I'm going to knock out Michonne. And then on Saturday, we're going to finish chapter 4 of The Walking Dead, the final chapter. Because we still have the Batman game to play. We have Call of Duty coming. And once that comes, once that drops, I'll probably be playing a lot of Call of Duty. So I want to get the Telltale stuff done. I do want to, I want to have it to play for a long time, but I do want to make sure that we finish that series. So yeah. But yeah, I haven't been streaming a lot this week. Just had a lot going on. A lot to take care of, so not too many streams. That's okay. Still streaming, just had to cut it back a little bit. I'll be bringing it back to full firepower soon. All right, we have an escort. This is a Chinese destroyer. Not terribly dangerous, but somewhat dangerous to us. Somewhat dangerous. Let's classify the rest of these ships. But yes, thank you for the lurks. Thank you everybody for the lurks. I really do appreciate it. Let's classify the rest of these ships. I'm gonna just manually classify this one because it's taking too long. I usually let the game, but since our crew's not proficient yet because, you know, they died, it's taken a while to classify. So let's help out here. Is this a trawler? Some kind of civilian ship? Sirius 6 is, oh my goodness, I was way off.
Con sonar, Sierra 6 is classified as submerged submarine.
I'm not sure about the classification, to be honest. Hilo? It's a Russian submarine, isn't it? Yeah, this is a Russian submarine. This is the South China Sea. What's going on? Yeah, that's Fuzz Kilo.
Sierra 6 is classified as submerged submarine.
Dark Shadow, welcome in. Welcome in. Trying to catch a Pancham. I will be. I've unfortunately not very well versed in Pokemon. I watched it when I was a wee baby Timma. I watched season like the original seasons a little bit, but I couldn't watch too much of it. It came on in the mornings for me as a kid. But my school schedule changed, so instead of being at school at 8 a.m., I had to be at school at 7 a.m. So I wasn't able to watch as much Pokemon as I wanted. I will be playing some Pokemon games to try to relearn. Because I hadn't been as much in the loop. I really loved Pokemon. It was one of the first anime I got into. Yeah, welcome in. Hope you are well. Hope you are well. First time chatter. Welcome, welcome. Oh no, it escaped. I'm sorry. Sometimes they escape. I'm a VTuber. I'm a captain VTuber. My uniform, my model and uniform were based off of the White Star line of old, which was Titanic's line, the line that ran Titanic. Eventually bought by Cunard. Cunard is a British line. White Star was also a homed in the United Kingdom, but they ended up merging with Cunard. There's still some touchstones, so let's show off my model a little bit. There's still some touchstones to the White Star line, like Cunard ships still have something called the I think it's called White Glove Service, which is like their kind of like first class experience. That still exists in some ways. 3-0, hello, hello. How are you, my friend? How are you? Let me give you a shout out here. And thank you for your message earlier, 3-0. I appreciate that. Really do. Welcome in, welcome in. We're just about to execute an attack on these ships once we get them classified. Are we detected? We are not counter-detected. Nope. Nope. Let's classify these last few ships.
One is classified as escort.
Quite a few ships here. I'm not sold that that's a kilo though. Playing some Coldwaters. Yeah, it's a trawler. Oh, it's a Chinese trawler though. We're in the South China Sea. This campaign we are fighting the Chinese Navy. Let's look at what Sierra 7. Sierra 7's a ways away. It's probably not involved in all this. It's probably peaceful. Yeah, we'll classify as merchant.
Sonar, Sierra 7 is classified as merchant.
Alright, let's make a left-hand turn. Let's come to course 0, 7.5. Before we do that, let's speed up.
Make turns for 8 knots. Maneuvering I.
We'll come to course 075.
075. Helm I.
Make sure we stay undetected, and we will attack Sierra 3, Sierra 2, Sierra 1. Yeah. I don't want to attack Sierra 3 yet until I'm convinced of what Sierra 6 is. Pretty sure Sierra 6 is a kilo, but we'll see. We'll need to reload some weapons anyway. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you, all my lurkers. I know that Jinx and Mian are lurking. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys. And yeah, I appreciate you, ReZero. Having a bit of a rough go of it, but we got some Coldwaters, and we got some Ray Charles singing for us. So life is good. Life is good.
Con, helm, steady course.
All right, steady on course. Let's go back to 5 knots. We're not going to go to ultra silent. We don't need to.
Knots. Maneuvering I.
Let's get a good solid classification on Sierra. Actually, so yeah, we will go ultra quiet. That'll help us get a better detection on Sierra 6. So our detectability went up to 14 and 8. So this is how much noise we are picking up. So the quieter we are, the better we can hear. So when we go ultra quiet, what that'll do on a submarine, that'll line the submarine up to be ultra quiet. So this is a huge submarine. You know, we're in a Seawolf. This thing is 9,100 tons. So it's got a big old nuclear reactor in it to power it. It's got all kinds of sensors and arrays. All these are electrically driven, computer driven, specifically computer driven. So all it needs to be cooled. It gets really hot on these submarines. So, you know, really doing anything is going to require a lot of compressors, a lot of cooling, a lot of air conditioning, a lot of air handling to move air throughout the submarine, to move water throughout the submarine, to trim it, to keep it level. All that stuff requires compressors and pumps. So when you go ultra quiet, basically you turn off any pumps that are really, really loud. Anything that's not necessary is turned off. So that's what we're doing. We are doing emissions control. Emissions control. Make ourselves quiet. All right. Kilo is looking more Kilo-like. We're not going to take a look at him yet until we're convinced it's Kilo. And also, so we have a 65% down here in the bottom left where my mouse is. We have a 66% solution on Kilo. So let's refine that solution, and we will attack the Kilo. If we do get a good solution on him. Because destroying a submarine is very important. It's one of the bigger threats to us. Probably the biggest threat is going to be this helicopter. Helicopters. Oh, we have a bomber as well, or a maritime patrol aircraft, MPA. Very dangerous. If they find you, you're kind of screwed in this game and in life. Let's go. We got a Bleach OP. I think this is one of my favorite Bleach openings, friends. I think this is OP3. Hold on. This is OP6, excuse me. Yeah, OP6. Sorry, I have to minimize to look at that. But the this is a very special anime to me. This is one of the first, it's not the first anime, but one of the first anime I watched with friends. And it was airing when I was in college, so we, you know, constantly got new episodes. It was, you know, new to all of us. Most of the time, any anime I watched with friends, they had already seen it or I had already seen it. with Bleach, none of us seen it because it was still airing. So actually, Bleach is coming back, friends, next week. I think next week. Yeah, next Tuesday maybe. So yeah, I will be watching that. So yeah, come hang out in the Discord. Come hang out in the Discord. Partial OP1. I hear you. I hear you. We'll see if we're able. Yes, yes, yes. Actually, so I don't know if we'll be able to stream. I'm gonna try to. Dark Shadow. Here's our Discord, by the way. I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to see if we can stream that or not. Because yeah, it's on Disney Plus and not on Crunchyroll, which very interesting. Very interesting. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully. I really hope to. That'd be nice to continue to watch Bleach with friends. Just like I used to. That was a lot of fun. So there's the Discord. Feel free to join. Yeah, Disney Plus. Disney has the rights to stream Bleach. The new Bleach. So it'll be streaming on Disney Plus and not on Crunchyroll. Which is, yeah, interesting. Well, let's go ahead and execute this attack. We're going to attack the Sierra 2 Luda, Sierra 3. We're going to attack the Kilo, and Sierra 4. Well, let's start this attack. We're going to retract our Totore, and we are going to attack Sierra 2. Range to enable. We'll attack at 7,000 yards on this bearing.
Aye, sir.
Sierra 3. Activate again. We'll activate all weapons at 7,000 yards except for 1 or 2.
Aye, sir.
Sierra 6. This one we're going to push out a little bit. We're also going to snake this weapon. But we can't snake it. Never mind.
Aye, sir.
And Tube 1, we will send after Sierra 4.
Aye, sir.
Glad I got both. Yeah. All I want is for it to air there so I can go, hey, I'm Ichigo Kurosaki. You're watching. Hi, I'm Ichigo Kurosaki. And you're watching the Disney Channel. All right, let's start to evade. Let's come up to 15 knots.
Make turns for 15 knots. Maneuvering eye. Con sonar lost contact. Sierra.
We're gonna load
last bearing,
tube
1, 4, 2.
3
Con maneuvering.
with another
Making
torpedo.
turns for 15 knots.
Almost choked reading that. Yeah, right. I'm Kurosaki Ichigo, and you're watching the Disney Channel. I love that. That's one of my favorite Jinx emotes right there.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 1. Last bearing 1, 2, 5.
All right, we got weapons out. Mark 48 add cap. Oh, they're schmoovin'. Hold on, let's readjust our attack here. They're really schmoovin'. You better have mouse series. So yeah, we have these are
Con, torpedo room, tube 3 ready.
the American Mark 48 torpedo. It's used very heavily in NATO. Very capable torpedo. Range, it's got a lot of range. In excess of 30,000 yards. Very excellent sensor on the front. It's got its own torpedo system, but it also has a wire that trails. That's how we were able to readjust the attack. It's got originally had a copper wire, but now the newer torpedoes have a fiber optic wire that trails out of the back of the torpedo. So there's a wire on the torpedo. There's also a wire in our torpedo tube. It'll spool out both ways. So it'll spool out from the torpedo tube and from the back of the weapon. Give us a long range control of the weapon. If this wire is broken or we break the wire because we need to maneuver to escape, the torpedo will use its own logic to conduct the attack. So, you know, it's got its own sensor here. It's got its own sonar system that it can activate and ping out about 6,000 yards around it and find a target. It also can be programmed to discriminate targets. You know, we're attacking a Luda. We can say, I want you to attack a surface ship with 2 propeller blades, which this game does not model yet. This game does not model, but it has 2 propeller shafts, and we can say, make sure the ship has 3 blades on its propeller, and it can discriminate that and say, I'm only going to attack that kind of ship. So yeah, they're very, very smart weapons. Very, very smart weapons. Very capable weapons. They can travel in excess of 55 knots. They're thermal torpedoes, so they have a
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 1, bearing 128.
they have a mechanical engine inside that burns fuel. It burns a fuel called Auto Fuel 2, which is a pre-oxidized fuel, so it's got oxygen in it already. Monofuel, so you don't need to add liquid oxygen or anything. You don't need to generate oxygen for this engine to burn, which is what helps give it a very, very long range and a very, very high speed. You can also make, so the French Mark 17 and Mark 21 are battery-powered torpedoes. Very excellent torpedoes, but batteries are heavy. They don't use lithium ion because lithium ion is incredibly flammable. You don't want to have a, you know, your torpedo were to catch fire, you'd have a really, really bad day. So they use a lead acid. I think they're lead acid batteries. So very heavy, not much energy density, but they're still very capable torpedoes. The F-21 especially is an extremely capable torpedo, as is the F-17. Let's adjust tube 4. Turn tube 4 to the left here a little bit. So all right, so this weapon's acquired Sierra 2.
Con sonar noisemaker bearing 132.
All right, we're going to drive this through that Moss decoy, or through that noisemaker. So the Luda dropped a noisemaker that kind of blinds the torpedo sensors. So rather than have the torpedo try to counter home to it, I just drove it in there because we can see, you know, we have all these huge sensors on our ship. We have these huge lateral arrays. We have this massive sonar dome. We can hear a lot. Whereas the torpedo just has this little bitty itty bitty sensor on the front. That's all it has. All right, we got another noisemaker. We'll drive you through noisemaker.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired. Con sonar, noisemaker.
Yeah, that's not gonna work, my friend.
139. Con sonar lost contact.
Got him?
Sierra 2, last bearing 139. Contact breaking up.
Let's go to, what is this, tube 4. So these torpedoes have their own logic. So even if you don't, if you're not guiding them, they will guide themselves. They're very, very smart. So if the wire breaks, they're good. They're sturdy. All right, we're gonna slow down. We're gonna execute a turn to course 110. So we're slowing down just so we don't break the wire. at 8 knots.
Making turns for 8 knots.
So I put a right rudder, 15 degrees, will come to course 110 here.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 164.
Ooh, I think we got him. I'm not guiding this weapon. It's doing its own thing.
Con
There we
sonar
go.
lost contact. Sierra 3, last bearing 163.
We overturned our mark a little bit. Let's come to 110. All right. There we go. On 110 now.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 6, last bearing 163. Contact faded.
We have a helicopter right here. We see this symbology is a helicopter dipping its sonar. We also have a weapon that's heading towards us about 8,000 yards away. Once it gets into 6,000, we're going to evade. So we'll mark that. We'll go to ultra quiet.
Big ship for ultra quiet.
See if we can pick back up where the Kilo is and where Sierra 4 is. Okay, there's Sierra 4. Let's adjust tube 1. We chase it. We picked up the Kilo here. I don't think the Kilo is actually there. Let's get on tube 5. Let's kind of search around a little bit. Keep this heading. We're gonna have to evade this torpedo here in a moment. We'll go ahead and line up. We'll come about to 255.
Come right to 255. Helm I.
Also come up to 8 knots.
Turns for 8 knots. Maneuvering I.
All right, our torpedo has acquired the Kilo.
Fire control, weapon countermeasure homing.
And he dropped a noisemaker, so it's doing a countermeasure home. I'm not going to guide the weapon because I don't have a good solution on the Kilo. Well, now I do. Now we do. So we can see we have a good solution on it now, but we'll let the weapon do its own thing. It's a Kilo. It can't escape. It's not going to escape. Sure. Okay, I think we messed up by turning around here.
Bearing 165.
But we're on this course, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to keep turning around. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and evade. Bring the ship to head 1-5.
Make turns for 1-5.
Do the turn.
Maneuvering I. Con sonar lost. Con maneuvering. Making turns for
We might lose our wires, but
5.
we need to evade. Let's see, where do we need to go? We need to go to... We need to get deeper.
Con helm. Steady course.
Our weapon's having difficulty finding the Kilo. He's done a good evasion. Head full.
Con sonar. We are cavitating.
9250.
Make depth 250 feet, dive by.
And yeah, we lost this weapon, but it should keep searching.
Con fire control, we've lost the wire.
Okay, we lost both wires. I'm down to 350 feet, head flank.
Sonar. No longer cavitating.
So we have this weapon right here.
Cavitating.
So we're trying to evade it. Come down to 450 feet.
Depth 450 feet, dive by.
Con sonar. Noisemaker bearing 164.
being very loud, so we're probably going to get counter detected.
Make depth 550 feet, dive
I just want to get down below cavitation.
less than 50
We can see these
keel.
Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
there we go. So we're not making those bubbles anymore.
Make depth 450 feet, dive high.
Make turns for 20 knots, maneuvering eye. Make turns for 1.
All right, we're going to slow down and turn,
Maneuvering eye.
reline up for quiet.
Make depth 200 feet, dive high.
Oh, we hit the kilo, unfortunately.
Noisemaker bearing 13.
I was evading, so I didn't see that. But we can watch the ship get attacked. Also, line up for a missile attack against the Luda.
Turns for 10 knots.
So we'll fire 2 harpoons at Luda, Sierra 1. Let's go ahead and load some more torpedoes, and we'll load more harpoons as well.
Con helm, steady course.
Sorry, this game can be a lot of like little technical things, so
Con sonar.
I'll try to
bearing
explain how it
1,
works
3,
as
7.
best I can. Best I can, because it can be kind of technical. But it's a fun little sub sim. It's not as complicated. There's a lot they model into it, but it's still very arcadey.
200 feet, dive high.
Still very arcadey. Still a lot of fun. All right, our torpedo is getting there. I think it's gonna get him. Is it gonna get him with this one?
Con sonar, noisemaker
Oh, sorry about that. I did not intend to do that at all.
1, 3, 7.
But yeah, like I was saying, this song is
Con, torpedo room, tube 4 ready.
this is the Lex Luthor theme from Batman v Superman. We watch Batman v Superman in Discord. We will be watching the Justice League. I've not watched the Justice League Snyder Cut, so we'll watch that eventually. Not too far away. I've not watched the Snyder Cut of Justice League. I watched the original theatrical version. It was okay.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 1, 3, 6.
So, Snyder was not able to finish directing, the Justice League. So, Jack Snyder was the principal director. Unfortunately, he had some, very serious issues in his family. He had to step away from the project. And, so actually Josh Whedon, who did most of the Avengers movies, stepped in for him to finish Justice League. But after he came back, he recut Justice League with his own vision. So yeah, very unfortunate set of circumstances. Had him pulled away from the project, but he did. We watched Man of Steel, which is one of my favorite superhero movies. He did a phenomenal job of that.
Noisemaker bearing 1, 3.
And then he did Batman v Superman. I did not really like Batman v Superman. I don't think he did a very good job of that. But is what it is. Music was phenomenal. Music was mostly Hans Zimmer, actually. Hans Zimmer is one of my favorite composers. And we watched Crimson Tide in Discord. One of my favorite movies, a submarine movie. Denzel Washington, Gene Hackman. Hans Zimmer did the music for that as well. Trying to see if this torpedo attack is successful. The ship is juking. It's got the moves. Okay, we're gonna have to attack the Luda that's bearing down on us. So we are going to slow down to 8 knots. We're gonna come up to the surface.
8 knots. Maneuvering eye. Con maneuvering. Making turns for 8 knots.
And we're going to conduct a harpoon attack against Sierra 1 Luda.
Con sonar. Noisemaker bearing 141.
Harpoon missiles are a very capable anti-ship missile. They're an older missile, but they've been upgraded a lot over time. And like we were saying before, the Poseidon missile that was used to sink the Moskva, which was the Russian cruiser in the Black Sea that was sunk by Ukraine, it was sunk by 2 Poseidon missiles, which are very similar to the Harpoon. In fact, they got a nickname. The predecessor to the Poseidon got a nickname as the Harpoonsky, as the Russian copy of the Harpoon, which it was. It was a Russian copy of the Harpoon. They very closely mirrored the capabilities of Harpoon. All right, let's slow ourselves down.
Make turns for 5 knots. Maneuvering eye.
Con,
This might be it.
At 49 feet, dive I.
Oh, can our torpedo turn? You have to imagine that these torpedoes, they have very, very small control surfaces. So the ship's got a massive rudder. Massive rudder. So these, while the torpedoes are very fast, they're not all that nimble, to be honest. All right, let's go ahead and conduct this attack. Let's get our mast and antennas up. Put our radar up.
New radar contact, bearing 19.
And we're gonna shoot. We're gonna shoot Luda.
Shoot tube 2. Aye, sir. Shoot tube. Con sonar. We are cavitating.
This helicopter came, it showed up right on top of us, right in a hurry. Oh boy. So yeah, they picked us up, of course, because we had our radar up.
Passing 200 feet. Passing 300 feet.
Con sonar. Lost contact. Master 5. Last
Right, we
bearing
fired 2 harpoons.
50 feet below the keel.
Whereas see if we can get this guy.
Con sonar. Noisemaker bearing 14. Con sonar. We are cavitating.
All right, we hit him with 1 harpoon. He's burning, but he's not dead. We have a helicopter that has showed up right on top of us. It's not attacked us.
Less than 50 feet below the keel.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna shoot a
Make turns for 0. Con sonar. No longer cavitating.
we're gonna shoot a Moss behind us to hopefully draw him off.
Shoot 2. Make turns for 1.
It's a noisemaker,
Knots. Maneuvering eye.
and hopefully they latch onto that. Let's reload that tube. Let's turn. Let's come up to head full.
Make turns for 20 knots. Maneuvering eye.
So we're just gonna walk away. Pretend we're not here. Let this Moss do work.
Maneuvering. Making turns for 20 knots.
All right, this guy's still dodging this torpedo like a lord. We shot this torpedo 10,000 years ago.
Con helm. Steady course.
And yeah, Sierra, wait, which are you? Sierra 4. Sierra 4's got the schmovements. Okay, it looks like, wait, did he sink? Oh yeah, okay. So it looks like they did sink from that 1 harpoon. Let's go. So I only have 1 ship left. Torpedo just ran out of energy and self-destructed.
Tube 7 ready.
We can't re-attack because we are evading right now. We're evading this helicopter, which seems to have wandered off and gotten lost, which is awesome for us.
Con sonar lost contact. Master 4. Last bearing 144. Contact faded.
So we're just going to keep walking away. Keep walking away. Opening distance from that helicopter that literally parked on top of us and didn't attack us for whatever reason. They really forgave us. They looked at us and said, nah. You don't deserve death. Not today. Let's I think we're good. I think we're good. We're gonna make a turn to course 185.
Come right to 185. Helm I.
And we're gonna slow down and reacquire Sierra 4 and finish them.
Con helm. Steady course.
Let's go ultra quiet.
For ultra quiet.
See if we can reacquire Sierra 4. Yeah, this helicopter is completely lost. So this helicopter, we just last spotted them at 5,003. It should pick up this moss and hopefully follow it all the way out to the abyss.
4. Bearing 143.
Required on 143, Master 4.
Sonar regained contact on Master 5. Bearing 357.
So we'll hang out and get that solution improved. They've slowed down to try to reacquire us. So they're going 9 knots right now. Go to our signature tab. We can see that they have -11, -36 on their sensors. They can't hear us at all. So we're good. What we're going to do is we're going to turn to get more sensors on them, or get a better resolution on them. So we're going to do a pretty cheeky turn here.
Con, less than 50 feet below the keel.
Oh, full rise.
Passing 400 feet.
So we got a warning that we were getting close to the bottom. So just put a full rise on the plane. We'll come up to 250 feet.
Depth 250 feet. Dive I.
And while we're doing that, we'll go ahead and execute another turn to 075.
Left to 075. Helm I.
Here's our speed. Up our turnout.
Turns forward.
This makes a lot of noise. When you're doing multiple things at once, it makes a lot more noise. But they already know we're kind of here. They just don't have a good solution on us. They know about where we are. So we'd be all right. They ain't gonna find us. This helicopter is completely lost. Basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to get a better solution on Master 4. We're going to reattack. We have a 68. Oh yeah, down here, over here in the bottom left-hand corner, where it says SOL, Sol, we have a 72% solution. So we're going to solidify that solution and reattack. Depending on how far he actually is, we might actually close distance with them before we reattack. We'll see. We'll see.
Con, dive at 250 feet. Dive I.
Okay, go to ultra quiet. And extend our photo array. That should get us a solution really quick. So yeah, he's only 13,000 yards away. Excellent. All right, so we'll attack with tube 3,
Con helm. Steady course.
Sierra 4. Only 13,000. Yeah. So we will activate the weapon at 11,000 yards. Bearing 160.
Shoot 2-3. Aye, sir.
We've shot the far left tube because our ship will help hide that launch transient. Hopefully, we'll see if he reacts at all. His speed has he has react. He's gone up to a full bell. Yeah, so he's definitely he kicked in the afterburner. He's like, let's get out of here. But we have you now. So we heard the weapon launch. Shooting a torpedo can be very, very loud. So the thing about the Mark 48, it's a thermal torpedo. So it's got a mechanical engine in it that burns fuel. It burns monofuel, or a monofuel known as autofuel 2. And this fuel is pre-oxidized. So, like, unlike kerosene or gasoline, both kerosene and gasoline need oxygen to burn. Autofuel 2 is pre-oxidized, so it doesn't need any oxygen. It's already in the fuel. The problem with autofuel 2 is that it's exhaust gas. It's extremely toxic to humans. It's extremely poisonous. So you have to make sure that when you launch this weapon, it is not on your ship. And the way they design these weapons is they cannot be launched. Nerd, yes, I am a nerd indeed. Welcome in. They cannot be launched inside the ship. Welcome in, welcome in. They cannot be launched inside the ship. So there's a torpedo ejection system that will push the torpedo out of the tube and it will push it away from the ship with enough energy so we don't run into the back of the weapon, right? We don't want to run over on a torpedo. But it gives enough time for the engine to start, the blades to spin up, for it to start getting enough momentum to drive itself away from the ship. So launching a torpedo is very, very loud. Hop, it's good to see you. I hope you're well. I hope you're well. Friends, please check out, yes, Hop, no, a fellow VTuber. Recently debuted their new model. Absolutely lovely model. An absolutely adorable PNG as well. Before the 2D model. But Hop has a very cute 2D model. Oh no. Yes, be shy. Yes, be embarrassed. Hop has a very, very cute 2D model. A melee streamer, as well as a variety streamer. But they will be, Hop is doing a VTuber prom on, I believe, December 4th. Is that the right date? Is it December 4th? Yeah, do check them out. Yeah, the 4th? Okay, yeah, what day is that? I will be there, so... That's a Sunday. Outstanding. Yeah, I almost never stream on Sundays. Usually watch the Chiefs games, but we might watch... We will definitely have that stream on, for sure. Gonna change they sped up as soon as we launched the weapon. They heard the launch transient from the weapon. They heard that water slug that we used to push the weapon out of the ship. And they adjusted their speed. They came to a full speed. Not their maximum speed, but full speed. So we're going to
Make turns for 8 knots.
so we're gonna go up to 10 knots.
Make turns.
So we'll adjust the weapon so it meets them. All right, it's 10 knots. We are going to turn a little bit more aggressively, come to 010. So we'll come right. We'll put a 10-degree rudder. And watch our angle here. We'll get to 010. Hold up, we got to turn this up a little bit. A banger. So yeah, we're playing some Coldwaters. We haven't played Coldwaters in a minute or two. Yo, Slick, welcome, welcome. How are you doing? How are you doing? What's poppin'? We're just chilling. We're just chilling. We got some tunes on. Haven't played some Coldwaters probably like in a month and a half. But we've been chilling. We've been chilling. It's good to see you. Let me get your side out here. Let me get on course here. We're coming to 110. 1 second. There we go. On course. Let's get this shout out going. Welcome, welcome. Slick on the war zone, on the warpath. We hang out in Slick's Slick's chat all the time. Absolutely incredible Warzone gamer. We'll be playing that new Call of Duty. The dirty clip, yeah. You got some crazy clips. You got some absolutely crazy clips. We will be playing some Modern Warfare 2 here in a few weeks. We're looking forward to that. Oh no. I don't know. It's a Chansey. That's actually one. That's a Pokemon I actually had. I had a card for that back in the day. I didn't have too many Pokemon cards. Parents thought they were a waste of money, which they were. They definitely were. But I did have a Chansey at one point. All right, they are not evading this weapon, really. Let's get this weapon a little closer, shall we? Let's bring it there. So we can see their wake up here. We're gonna try to get an intercept on them. Moonkay, hello, hello. How are you doing, Moonkay? It is good to see you, Moonkay. It's good to see you. Yeah, welcome, welcome, welcome. Is that that's Dark Souls 3? Or is that, yeah, that's Dark Souls 3, I think. Could be wrong. Oh, the first Dark, really? Okay. Yeah, I'm not a, I actually haven't played any of the Souls game. I do own Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring, so I do need to play them, but yeah, this is a game I enjoyed a lot. I haven't played this in probably like a month and a half. This is a submarine simulator called Coldwaters. So we're right now we're in a campaign that takes place in the 2000s in the South China Sea. Where we had some problems with the Chinese government. We end up having ourselves a little war. So we are in a Seawolf class submarine attacking the Chinese Navy. We are in a Seawolf. I think we're in the USS Seawolf, actually. Yeah, this is it's a game I very much enjoy.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
So yeah, we're conducting a torpedo attack. We have a Mark 48 torpedo, and we're attacking here this Chinese surface ship.
Con, fire control, weapon countermeasure homing.
It does have good graphics, yeah. I've not played Barotrauma. Not. Got this weapon on course. Mark 48 has a very, very long cable wire that trails behind it. It's attached to the torpedo, and it spools out thousands of feet of cable. And there's also some cable stored in the torpedo tube, so we can command the weapon even after it's launched. You're controlling it. Yeah, I was controlling it then. Yeah. Yep. So the torpedo has its own. It's a very smart torpedo, the Mark 48 ad cap. This is the Mod 6 ad cap. We recently released the Mod 7 ad cap. So this is a very, very modern variant. I'm sorry, no, Mod 7 or Mod 8? I think it's Mod 7 we just released. I think that's a Seabass variant. Mark 48 ad cap Seabass, which is like common broadband. I don't remember what the full acronym is. The Navy loves their acronyms. The military in general loves their acronyms. ADCAP stands for Advanced Capability. Originally, this was the Mark 48. Eventually, it became the Mark 48 ADCAP, which is the Advanced Capability. And then it became the Mark 48 ADCAP Seabass, which is, it incorporated a whole new suite of capabilities. They're constantly upgrading this weapon. Very, very, very capable weapon. Yeah, we've defeated this small fleet of Chinese ships. Submarines are the battleship of the modern battlefield. They are going to be a menace to surface ships. Absolute menace. The weapons on submarines are very difficult to counter, and they're very, very, very difficult to detect. Fast, and they carry a lot of weapons. So yeah, submarines are very, very deadly weapons indeed. Get a cheeky save in. Submarines represented almost 50% for the U.S. Navy in World War II. They represented almost 50% of the tonnage sunk in World War II. But in World War II, they were more suited for attacking merchant shipping. And that was a very important mission to take out Japanese supplies to the islands that they controlled. Yeah, I actually got to visit a old fleet submarine of World War II this year in April. I went on board the USS Pampanito in San Francisco, California. Yeah, they had a museum ship, and I got to visit it. It was really, really cool. It was really, really cool. They had a little memorial outside for the submarines still on eternal patrol that sunk during World War II. They say they're on eternal patrol. Submarines that have sunk with their crew on board. Yeah. Being a submariner would have been something for sure. I think we have, there is, actually, I think there's a German, there's an American and I believe there's a German U-boat in Chicago. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a German U-boat. Yeah. Yeah, I do love museum ships. I love museum ships. Actually, when I was in California, I went on board the USS Iowa, which is one of our last battleships. I went on the Pampanito, the fleet submarine. I went on the USS Midway, which was an aircraft carrier. Yeah, I got to check out quite a few museum ships. It was awesome. Would you do something like this now? Something Like visit. I love museum ships. Would I be in a sub? Um. So honestly, I think submarines now would be a safer bet than being on a service ship. In World War II, you definitely the mortality on submarines. I think submarines had among the highest mortality in the war. In terms of the chances of you dying were extremely high. Yeah, World War II subs that would not be. Now they were some of the most devastating weapons of the war. They were one of the most effective weapons in the war. It had the largest effect on shipping, but there's a good chance you're gonna die. Now modern submarines are they are definitely the battleship. Um, they're going to be conducting some very dangerous missions, and submarines are still dangerous. Submarines are still very dangerous. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. So there are two types of submarine, in most fleets now. One of them being.
Con, less than 50 feet.
Oh, what's going on? Why are we so close to the bottom? Hold on. The ballistic missile submarine,
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
which carries a substantial portion of our nuclear deterrent, and the fast attack or hunter killer submarine, which is sort of the modern battleship.
Designated Sierra 3.
Yeah, the ballistic missile submarines, they carry a substantial portion of our nuclear arsenal. It's safer to be underwater. It's hard to detect submarines. Very, very hard to detect submarines when they don't want to be found. When they're not conducting attack or doing espionage, they're almost impossible to find. Yeah. So in terms of being safe, yeah, you could be relatively safe on a submarine. And also you're an aggressor. So generally submarines choose the time and the place where they attack. So they can choose to attack in the most favorable condition. But yeah, ballistic missile submarines. The United States, we have 18. Currently, we have 18 Ohio class missile submarines. 14 of those submarines are on a ballistic missile mission. 4 are on a guided missile mission. So the SSGNs, they're a new variant of the Ohio class that we've developed. They carry 147 Tomahawk missiles, plus they have expansive room to host Navy SEALs and conduct espionage. So we have 4 SSGNs, which are the guided missile variants. 14 of the Ohio class submarines are on strategic deterrent missions, where they carry up to 20 Trident II nuclear missiles each. Each one of those missiles can carry up to 5 reentry vehicles with a nuclear warhead. Yeah. So they can carry around 100 nuclear warheads. Yeah, they carry a ton of firepower. They carry the adage is that Trident missile submarines carry more firepower on board that has been released in the entirety of war. So all the explosives ever detonated pre-Civil War up to World War II, Korea, Vietnam, all the explosives that we've ever detonated, the one single Ohio class submarine has that same explosive power as in all of warfare, and we have 14 of them. So yeah, very, very powerful, very, very devastating weapons. And also almost, yeah, they would definitely have a substantial effect if they're ever used. Hopefully they're never used. The goal is for them never ever to be used.
Come left to 130, helm I.
So they're a strategic asset. Their job is to deter war. What would you like to do on a sub if you did? I would probably want to be in sonar if I was on a sub. I would either want to be in sonar or in nuclear propulsion. I would want to be an engineer in the engine room or a sonarman.
Is classified escort.
Sonarmen, they get to see out. They get to they're always needed. And even if they're on the surface, I think they also run the radars when they're on the surface. So they're the eyes of the submarine. They're always going to be involved in everything going on. Yeah. We're definitely the eyes of the submarine. If you're a sonarman, either that, I want to be a sonarman, or I want to be in nuclear propulsion. I think those would be the coolest, like the coolest jobs. They're also going to be very, very. I mean, you can't any job in the military. You're going to be working really, really hard. But yeah, I think sonarmen have they're going to have a lot of pressure. But honestly, what I'd probably end up doing if I was in the Navy, I'd probably end up being a cook, to be honest. One, because I do love cooking, and I think I'd probably be really, really good at that. Not to say that I'm not, like, why so serious? I'm gonna butcher your name. I'm so sorry. Thanosh? Thanosh? Thank you. Why so serious? That is a great question. Oh my gosh. Oh. Scary noise. Yeah, that got me. I was looking for my button to. And then Thosh. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering your name. Help me out if you would. Thank you for the redeems. Thank you for the redeems. I appreciate it. Yeah, you definitely don't want the ghost noise on your submarine or the heartbeats on your submarine. You're probably having a bad day if you get either of those. Welcome in. We're playing some Coldwaters. Oh, that's not the right. I want to be here. There we go. I want to be here. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Con, helm, steady course.
So you know, I've worked for the Department of Energy. Worked for the Department of Defense. So I think I could probably pull off being a nuke, being a nuclear engineer. I think I could pull it off. If well, not now, I can't. But if I were to go into Navy, I think I probably could have gotten that. But it's a very, very hard job to get. You have to be real top of your class to get that. But I think I would want to go. I'd probably end up going in the culinary side. The cooks on those boats they're very hard workers, and they're fantastic. They're fantastic. Actually, the food on submarines is known to be very good. They bake all their bread. Well, most of their bread. So they might keep a little bit of bread for the very, very start of the cruise, but for the most part, they bake all the bread. So dough for the pizzas, all that they make. But yeah, they have to make a lot from scratch because they're going to be on patrol for, if they're a ballistic missile submarine, up to 120 days. If they're a attack submarine, like we are right now, maybe 80 to 90 days before they resupply. Submarine sandwich, yeah. Imagine there's some phenomenal sub sandwiches. Yeah, they can go very long periods of time without resupply. So they got to bake their own breads. They're going to be doing, they don't have the luxury to have a lot of pre-made foods. So when they make a pizza, they make the dough, the sauce, all from scratch. Because storing a frozen pizza, it takes a lot of space. But a bag of flour that you can use to make 5 or 6 pizzas or more, that doesn't take much space up, right? The water they can generate the water on the submarine. So yeah, they just need the ingredients like yeast, flour, salt. They have canned tomatoes that they can puree to make the sauce, and then add the salts, oreganos, all the seasonings to it. So yeah, it's they make a lot from scratch on board submarines. So I'd probably end up wanting to be a cook. That's probably what I would go for. From what I heard, you definitely want to live on a submarine diet. Yeah, the food is, from what I've heard, the food is phenomenal on submarines. Yeah. Decent amount of variety. I think they do a lot of stuff like kind of regimented, like they'll have like pizzas on a certain day so people know what day of the week it is. One second, let me turn down this a little skosh. A little loud. A little loud. Don't want to live. Don't want to live. Yeah, so I mean, you have to stay in shape in the military, right? But I hear they have really good food. I know that they recently got rid of deep fryers on submarines. So no more deep fried food, but they're still gonna have like fries and stuff like that. But deep fryers just aren't necessarily a good idea for a submarine, right? You're gonna cause a fire. Fire on a submarine is not a very pleasant thing. Fire on any ship. Yeah. A fire on a submarine is probably the biggest threat to the submarine. Really, any ship. A fire is an incredibly bad threat. That's really what sunk the Moskva. So the Neptune missile does not have a significantly large warhead. Only like what, 125 kilo, 250 pounds, something like that. It's not a big warhead at all. It was the fire that killed the Moskva, not the weapons. Now the weapons caused the fire, but the crew's inability to put the fire out over the course of however many hours it burned. That's what set the ship. You do have plenty of water to put it out. That is true. You have as much water as you could possibly want. Marine officers get filled with sugar to increase aggressiveness. Yeah, I mean, really any I mean, there's some older officers for sure. I mean, you definitely, the senior officers are going to be older than 30, but yeah, if you're on it's going to be a diet without a lot of fresh fruits, without a lot of fresh veggies. They only have a week and a half maybe of fresh stuff, maybe 2 weeks on some things that they can refrigerate. But not much more, not much more than that. So you're gonna be relying on a lot of tinned vegetables and fruits, frozen veggies, which they're still healthy. Frozen veggies, frozen broccoli is still healthy, but yeah, there's not going to be a lot of salad out past 2 weeks. Not a lot of spinach that's not frozen spinach, for sure. But they can still make hearty food. Healthy food. I use a lot of frozen okra. I use a lot of fresh okra too, but I use a lot of frozen spinach as well. Like when I'm making stews, I'll use a lot of frozen spinach. So, okra is good. Okra is good. You can also bread and fry okra and make it, incredibly tasty, but not very healthy. But I make a lot of stews with okra, with spinach, mushrooms. Mushrooms can last for quite a while refrigerated. Yeah, those are kind of the staples for me. All right, we're gonna load our weapons. We need to this time try to actually successfully attack this base here with Tomahawk Strike. So we're loading Tomahawk missiles. We're in a Seawolf class submarine. This is a Cold War era submarine. This is one of the most advanced ships we've ever made. Absolutely blistering with sensors. 8 torpedo tubes, which we don't generally make 8 torpedo tube submarines anymore, and a huge store of weapons on these ships. Huge store. 50 weapons, whereas most of our submarines can carry around 28 tube launch weapons and maybe 14 VLS, maybe. So big old torpedo room, big old gigantic torpedo room. How do hurricanes and storms affect submarines? They do not, unless they're in port. 200 feet under the water, submarine doesn't care about a hurricane. The only problem is they can't. They're not going to surface. So if they have an incident like a fire, and they're underneath a hurricane, they need to deal with that fire and not surface the submarine. So that's how they could be affected. There was a submarine that was in port in I think it was in Norfolk Naval Base on the East Coast in Virginia. Yeah, pressure. Yeah. You don't really have to care about the weather above the waves. But there was a submarine that was, I can't remember which hurricane it was in, but they couldn't go out to sea. They weren't in a condition where they were ready to go out to sea. So they actually statically dove the submarine in port. They took out the lines and they did just a straight down dive in port, so that just the sail was above water, but the rest of the submarine was completely below water. And it was totally fine. It was chilling. They were chilling. So yeah. Hurricanes, unless you have to surface for some reason, it might also impact communication to an extent. They use a very low frequency antenna to penetrate the water. So I'm not sure how well, because that low frequency needs to go through the atmosphere and then through the water, so may have some effect on them. I'm not sure. They obviously can't come up and use their high frequency antennas for communication. So there may be some communication lag there. Yeah, communication, yeah. So they can come up to the surface, or they can actually trail out an antenna. They can raise an antenna mast that will float towards the surface if they're really deep. They can have high frequency, high fidelity communications, satellite communications. But if they don't want to use those antenna, we can send a low frequency message to them over vast ranges. We can do that from aircraft. There's the Air Force's E-4B. It's a 747, and it has a ability to trail out like a multi-mile long cable from behind the 747, and they can send a very, very long wavelength, hundreds of meters long wavelength message to communicate with their submarines. The problem with can enemy decide, it's going to be encrypted still. It's still encrypted, but it'd be very difficult to jam. And a lot of times if we're using those messages, they're very time sensitive. So even if they decrypt it, by the time they decrypt it, it doesn't matter, because the information's already there. So yeah, the E4Bs can send those very, very low frequency messages to submarines that are very, very deep. There's other platforms we can send those from as well, not just the E4Bs, but other platforms can send those. So in staying contact, the problem with low frequency is it's a very low bandwidth message, so you can't send a lot of information. Like you can't send like real-time radar data, but you can send like text communications, like here's your orders, you need to be here by this time, you need to travel in this column of water, these are where the enemies are. But you're not going to be able to send like real-time radar data or something like that, or real-time sonar data. It'll be very, very simple text messages. If they want higher fidelity data, they're going to have to use something that has a lot of bandwidth, a high frequency communication. So they'll need to come shallow and use a high frequency antenna. Yeah, it's going to be encrypted, so you have to translate it. It's going to be encrypted and probably in some kind of cipher.
Torpedo room, tube 7 ready.
We also have underwater telephones. So we can communicate using underwater telephones. If you're really, really close to a submarine, they can actually use their sonar system there's a special sonar they have that they can send out messages via sonar to other ships. Yep, underwater telephone. Yep. So yeah, they can send out messages via sonar to communicate directly. Very, very low fidelity. So again, it'd be like, I mean, it's like cup and string at that point. Like, it's going to be very, very low fidelity. Actually, the Soviet Union really invested heavily in underwater telephones. They actually had underwater modems so that you can actually send, like, you know, not quite 56K data, but like probably like 14K or less. No, probably not even 14, probably like 8K data. So they can actually send modem like almost like a fax underwater. The Soviets were very, very, they had very, very advanced underwater telephone technology. Underwater modem, yep. So it'd be more like a fax rather than like
torpedo room,
like a 50K6, like a dial-up modem. So some basic messaging, but it would allow their ships and submarines to pass messages to each other if they were in relatively close proximity, 2,000 yards. How modern is this? So that would have been like in the 70s, but they, you know, that we still use underwater telephones. Yeah, we still use underwater telephones today. We don't use them that much because you have to be really close. So if you're that close, kind of there's a question of like, what's the point, right? Because again, you're going to be emitting into the water a lot of noise doing this. So, you know, that emissions control, anybody can hear it that's in range and potentially decipher it. So satellite communication is better because it provides more or less a point to point. You have to be in between the submarine and the satellite to be able to intercept that message. Whereas underwater telephone's pretty omnidirectional. Anyone that's just in the area can hear it. All right, let's come shallow.
Make depth 100 feet. Dive by.
And we're going to fire this Tomahawk strike against this naval base here. The Akula had what, 3 pressure holes? Yeah, the I think the Akula was still 2 holes, but they had very good compartmentalization on the Akula. It was a very, very sturdy hull. One of the sturdiest hulls. It was an all titanium design. So the Akula could dive extremely well. It wasn't actually the deepest diving Soviet submarine, but it was a very deep diving submarine. It could actually dive underneath NATO torpedoes in some cases. Some torpedoes could not get down to where it could dive before the torpedo's hull would fail. The Akula was very, very fast. Yeah. Can submarines shoot stuff out of water? Yeah. We're about to do that, actually. We're going to conduct a Tomahawk strike. We have 8 Tomahawk missiles loaded. So these are land attack missiles. Very large missiles. Very, very large missiles. Big warhead. These can go 1,500 nautical miles. So like over 3,000 kilometers. So you wouldn't be this close launching a Tomahawk strike against a naval base. You'd be probably like 400 or 500 kilometers away. If you wanted to have some like weird, like, we'd be like 400, we'd be like way, way out here off the map, and we'd launch them north and maybe come in over land to avoid, they're definitely gonna have tons of radar at this base, so we'll try to avoid their radar. Or we can go all the way out, you know, 1,200 nautical miles and just shoot them directly at the base, if we didn't care about trying to avoid radars. But I could play any military game and make it informal. Theoretically, US subs have air-launched torpedoes as well. So the torpedo, we have well, subs wouldn't, but like, so this is one of their helicopters. They have airdrop torpedoes. So this helicopter has 2 torpedoes, and they can drop them. They have a little parachute that'll trail down, drop them in the water, and yeah, very dangerous. If they detect us, which they will detect us here shortly, they can drop these torpedoes basically right on top of us, and they're very, very hard to evade, especially since we have so little water to work with. We're not going to be dodging much with you know, we don't even have almost a ship length of water below us. So let's conduct this attack. Oh, and I'm sorry, I think, so do you mean like like a sub-rock weapon. We do have sub-rocks, which are torpedoes that we can launch like these missiles. So let's launch this Tomahawk strike first.
Shoot 2-1.
So this Tomahawk is shot out of our tube.
Shoot 2-2. Aye, sir.
It'll transition to a cruise missile,
Shoot
and it'll go
2-4.
attack this base.
Aye, sir. Shoot 2-5. Aye, sir. Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 2, bearing 093. Make turns for con sonar. We are cavitating.
Yeah, subs are amazing. So we do have a weapon called a sub-rock, which is a it's a submarine launched missile that has a warhead of a torpedo. I think that's Tavar. I think is that what you're referring to? Yeah, that's what I meant. Okay. Yeah, so we do have oh, are they shooting at our stop shooting at my Tomahawks, friend. So yeah, we do have missiles that we can shoot out of the torpedo tubes that will send this missile in the area that we want it to go. But its warhead, instead of being like a bomb, is a torpedo that will deploy from this missile, drop into the water, and we can drop it right on top of an enemy submarine. Yeah, we have some very, very creative weapons for sure. Hopefully I launched these correctly. Did we? Yeah, let's see. I don't know who came up with subs as a concept. Mono words are yes. A lot of modern submarines are based off of the one of the last submarines that the German Reich developed. But submarines are old. We deployed, the United States deployed a submarine in the Revolutionary War. It was completely ineffective. It's 100% ineffective. But it's basically a barrel where they tried to attach a mine to a British ship. Yeah. And yeah, torpedoes are submarines are very, very old. They didn't really become effective until in combat until World War One. Yeah. We did. The Confederacy also deployed a submarine during the Civil War. To attempt to break the Union blockade.
Con, torpedo room, tube 5 ready.
The Confederate submarine did not work at all. It was basically a small tube where they can dive a few feet. It was less advanced than a narco sub. Actually, there's some really advanced narco subs, so that's not a fair comparison. But it was mechanically driven. They basically had a corkscrew where men would essentially paddle this thing with a screw. They would turn a screw with their hands, propulse it, and it had a very long, essentially oar, the stick, where they had an explosive at the end of the stick, and they were going to ram a Union ship, hopefully blowing up the ship, probably also blowing themselves up in the process. But the goal was not to blow themselves up, but it's not like I could test this out very well. Yeah. During the revolution, ferry infiltrators into port cities using proto subs. Yeah. The semi-submersible was an interesting thing. Actually, I think I know the song. This is Michael Jackson's "Smooth Criminal." We have a ship nearby. We're going to, let's see it. It's Sierra 1. We're going to shoot a torpedo at it. We're going to reverse our engines, slow us down. We need to slow down to allow our torpedo to eject from the tube. We're going to shoot Sierra 1. Range to enable, we'll say range to enable will be 4,000 yards. Bearing 145. Shoot.
Shoot 25.
To flank. Reload the tube. Let's go.
Turns 4. Con sonar. We are cavitating.
I never thought I'd see that. Well, yeah. Yeah, we listen to all kinds of jams here.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra.
World War
3,
One.
bearing 286. Contact
When it came to
is about-
submarines, especially German submarines, the Germans had a massive advantage. Submarines were very, very difficult to detect unless they were attacking you. Sonar wasn't really a thing, and hydrophones didn't really do much in terms of acoustic detection. You can only really detect submarines while they're on or near the surface. You can detect the periscopes visually. Radar wasn't a thing. And you could detect them on the surface from their emissions, their smoke. You can also detect their emissions if they were using their radios, their Morse apparatus to send radio messages.
Con,
But yeah,
computer
you weren't
room,
gonna.
5
They had a very, very high advantage. By the end of World War II, subs they were mostly underwater. They were treated, mostly like normal ships, and they would dive. Yeah, they would dive just for attacks.
Torpedo in the
Oh
water.
God! What?
Torpedo in the water. Bearing 227.
Someone dropped.
flooding in the reactor.
Oh, someone dropped a torpedo right on top of us. Where did that even come from?
Passing 100 feet.
Okay. Let's repair the pumps.
Damage control parties. Lay to the engine room.
Let's get some harpoons loaded, shall we?
Come left 2.
Yeah, someone just absolutely just got us with the torpedo there. Sorry about that. I don't know where that came from.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 4.
Yeah, it was. They were right on the money. They had.
Zero. Contact is
They really had that fire solution worked out.
Con helm.
We're making a lot of noise trying to run though, so it's surprising.
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 1.
All right, so I've
bearing
ballasted the ship
2.
to try to keep us from bottoming out. Actually, fully up to sea or ballast. Yeah, that submarine was faster underwater than submerged. Yeah, it was one of the first times that was a thing. Cold would freeze a sub back then. So submarines are actually pretty warm.
Con, torpedo room.
I mean, there's a lot of machinery here, right? We have a nuclear reactor, which is pretty warm. But we have a lot of machinery, hydraulics, pumps, computers, electronics. There's actually a need for some pretty good air conditioning on a sub. So we generate a lot of heat. It's a steel tube. There's a lot of people in this sub. 150 men and women. And the living space on a modern nuclear sub, which nuclear subs are really quite large compared to like older subs of World War II or diesel subs. The living space is about 4,000 to 5,000 square feet. So about the size of two-story houses for 150 people. Yeah. So yeah, for the average American household, a two-story household, is 2,000 or 2,500 square feet. Yeah, essentially that's what we had. We have a little over 2 American houses worth of living spaces for 150 people. So it's pretty cramped. It's a lot of bodies and not a lot of space. Yeah. And when they go like into their ultra quiet modes, when they're trying to be really quiet, they turn off a lot of the fans, a lot of the cooling. So yeah, it can get really sweaty and really moist quick and in a hurry. a decent amount of moisture.
Damage control parties. Lead to the reactor space.
What do they do for fun? Well, they don't have a lot of time for fun.
Sonar, noisemaker,
Um,
bearing 165. Con sonar, Sierra 1 is classified as escort.
yeah, they're not going to have a lot of time for fun. They have shifts that will, they're basically working half the day.
Con, torpedo room, tube 6 ready.
They're working usually 12 hours a day. And then they have 12 hours to sleep and study. And do all their cleaning. Which, you know, when you have that many people in that little amount of space, you're going to spend a lot of time cleaning. Doing drills. They're not going to do their drills while they're on shift. They'll usually have a different, like, set of people do drills.
Con sonar, noisemaker, bearing
So yeah.
168.
But they do have, I mean, you know, they can watch movies. They'll bring a ton of films on. They'll have video on modern submarines. They'll have video games. They'll have Xboxes and stuff like that. So they can play, you know, Halo and stuff, local stuff. They can't play obviously anything that's networked. That's so it's all local. Probably a lot of 2K. Probably a lot of Madden, stuff like that. They'll work out on the submarines. Doctors, no, they won't have any doctors on a submarine. But they'll have crew members that can take care of medical. I don't know if they'll have a corpsman, but they'll have crewmen that can take care of medical. They may even have some crewmen that can do some basic dental work, like cleaning and stuff like that, teeth cleaning. If they needed like if they had a serious medical emergency, they would take the crew member off via helicopter when they were able to, or pull into port. Barbers, yep. They definitely have to keep trimmed. All right. So we completed our Tomahawk strike. We got a little bump. We got a little. We found a little hole in the boat, so we're gonna have to fix that. Yeah, a lot of hair. Yeah, definitely. My hair grows so fast. So yeah, they're definitely gonna have to keep it looking fresh. Yeah, the ocean is less forgiving than space is in a lot of ways. These submarines are massive, way bigger than the space shuttle, and holding in air pressure is a lot easier than holding out ocean. Holding in air pressure, right? You only have to hold in less than 1 atmospheric pressure of air. Water, on the other hand, for every 10 yards a submarine descends in the ocean, they increase the water pressure by 1 atmospheric pressure. So the surface, 1 atmospheric pressure. 10 yards down, 2 atmospheres. or 20 yards down, 3 atmospheres. So there's a ton of pressure, of hull pressure put on submarines. This submarine can go down well below 1,900 feet. Well below 1,900 feet. So you're talking more than 600 yards down. So that's more than 60 times atmospheric pressure. Submarines inspired space stuff. There's a lot of the space technology in terms of air filtration, water filtration. A lot of that. Oh, there's a lot of crossover there for sure. Let's see. What did I miss here? Oh, what do they do with their trash? So when they're able to, they will put their trash into. They have a machine that will grind up wastes. Like, you know, food wastes, and other wastes. They'll grind it up like basically a garbage disposal. They'll store it and they'll eject it into weighted bags. So they will use like something that'll break down, like steel. Steel will rust and break down. They'll weight these bags with steel, and they'll insert the waste so it sinks out because you don't want it going to the surface where people can detect it. And they'll just push it. They'll just eject it overboard. It's loud doing that. It's loud flushing that stuff out of the ship, because you're gonna have to overcome however much water pressure you're pushing against. So you're gonna have to use a powerful compressor to push enough water off the ship to eject the waste out. So they'll shoot the waste overboard, and the Navy's actually very clean about it. They're not ejecting plastics overboard. So plastic water bottles and things like that, they'll try to minimize how much plastic they use. They will compress that down into discs, and they will dispose of that when they pull into port. They'll keep that on board. But things that'll biodegrade, like food and bodily, wastes, they will eject overboard when they're way out at sea, not when they're near a coastline. Their reactors completely closed loop, so there's going to be no radioactive emissions from the submarine. But yeah, wastewaters, anything that could damage the environment, they're not going to put overboard. So any chemicals, oils, hydraulic fluids, all that stuff stays on board the submarine until they pull into port and they can safely dispose of it. Things like chicken bones and bodily wastes and things like that, they'll eject overboard. Metals that can degrade, so steel, they can send overboard. But things that don't degrade, that won't rust and break down, the Navy's actually a pretty good steward of the ocean, or at least they try to be. All right, is our damage okay? Our damage is repaired, I think. We need to bring some SEALs on board, don't we? Is that what the mission is? Let's look at the mission. Okay. To better plan for Chinese initiatives, Navy Ops has decided to insert a SEAL team by submarine in the vicinity of Yulin, where they will conduct intelligence and sabotage behind enemy lines. Therefore, you must infiltrate the area around Yulin and deploy SEALs to the deployment zone. All right, so we're going to take a SEAL team on. This is something the Virginia class submarine does, a very modern submarine that's replacing our Los Angeles classes. One thing they would do is they would clear out the torpedo room to make room for a large SEAL team, but only if they're going to use a large SEAL team. You wouldn't necessarily need to do this for in a Seawolf. You wouldn't need to completely clear out the torpedo room. No, there's no shooting. You don't control the people. You just get to a place where you'll deploy them and you'll send them off to do their thing. So we're going to load up on torpedoes. We're just going to load up on a complete ad cap loadout. We're going to take 8 ad caps, and then we're going to load our SEALs, which will unload all of our other weapons. So all we have is the weapons in the tube, and the torpedo room has been cleared out to make room for the SEALs. There is a game in development that is exactly like that you're describing, where it'll be multiplayer sub-management. I don't remember the title offhand, but yeah, you can have someone commanding the submarine. You can have, propulsion folks, maneuvering folks, driving submarines, sonar operators. Yeah, there's a game in development. I need to look up the name of that game. I remember the title offhand. Yeah, it'd be very interesting. All right, let's get a save in here. Yeah, I think it'll be pretty cool. All right, so new sonar contact bears 039 Sierra 1. Our depth is 150 feet. Heading of 5, so we should have Kind of in front of us to the right, a sonar contact. We have a moderate flare at 148 feet, which is perfect. Moderate duck, perfect. We're going 10 knots. Let's go.
On sonar, new contact bearing 278, designated Sierra 1.
All right, Sierra 1 is off or left. That is our deployment zone.
Contact bearing 03.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
We're gonna go ultra quiet. We're gonna put up the array. Let's put array. Figure out what's going on. We have a helicopter and a maritime patrol aircraft. I remember going to a military museum for Boy Scouts. There were tanks to climb on. That sounds fun. Yeah, yeah.
9. Contact faded.
All right, let's see what we got.
Con sonar, new contact bearing 117, designated Sierra 4.
Looks like we have something to our left at 116 that we haven't picked up. Pinging us. Interesting. We have 226 pinging actively. I'm just looking at these little stripes that tell us. So we have that at 116, that yellow stripe we saw. And then again at 268. So we have a sensor right here, this little knob. Is a sonar array. That's a directional sonar array that can read those active pings and detect exactly which direction they're coming from. One thing that this game doesn't model is us hearing those pings. We would know the type of sonar system that was emitting those pings based on what they sounded like. So we'd be able to probably identify these ships by their pings alone, or at least what kind of sonar system. So we could narrow down what kind of ships they could and couldn't be based on the active pings. So the game doesn't model that. All the pings are all the same. They do have their own, they make their own like in-game sound. So if you're really astute, you can maybe listen for that sound for certain ships. But yeah, they don't model the ability to identify the ships based on their ping, which is definitely a thing. We're gonna turn.
Come left to
This light blue circle is the SEAL deployment zone, so that's where we need to get to. Let's turn out there. I'm gonna actually step away for just a second to get a drink. I'm gonna just let the game play though. I'll be right back. Yeah, enjoy your rest. Enjoy the rest of your evening, everyone. And yeah, if you need to pop out and take care of yourselves, please do. Yeah, yeah. Should get some food in you. It's dinner time. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out.
Con, helm, steady course.
All right. So we're heading to our SIL deployment zone. Straight ahead, we'll compress some time here. We're going to get these ships identified. We'll go ahead and just compress time and identify these ships. So this mission's purely
Sierra 1 is classified as escort.
It's purely about stealth. We only have 8 weapons. So we want to get these SEALs in that we don't want them to be detected. We don't want to be counter-detected because we don't have a lot of weapons to fight. So they're probably doing some little patrol here.
Sierra 4 is classified as escort.
So we'll see them kind of zip around They'll probably do kind of a patrol box looking for intruders. So we're just compressing some time so we can get close. We'll bring in our sonar array before we get too close. A wild Jinx appears. Ah, grog males. This is a Sea of Thieves character, grog males. And this song is inspired by that character. I don't know if he's exclusive to Sea of Thieves. Like, they have a lot of characters that are not Sea of Thieves exclusives. Like the Pirates of the Caribbean. Of course, they have Jack Sparrow. They have Barbarossa, Davy Jones, all from the Pirates of the Caribbean universe.
Con sonar lost contact.
All right,
Sierra
we are going
3,
to
last
increase
bearing,
our speed.
0, 5, contact faded.
We're actually going to increase our depth first.
Make depth
200 feet.
0, 0 feet, dive I.
We're going to increase our speed to 10 knots.
Make turns for 1, 0 knots. Maneuvering up.
This should be a pretty uneventful mission, hopefully. Oh no, Jinx escaped. I should have used an Ultra Ball or something. Or a Great Ball. This Blues Brothers? Yes. Sweet Home Chicago. Love the Blues Brothers. John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd. Phenomenal. So we came down to 200 feet to take advantage of this layer, which will help shield us from detection a little bit. Eventually, we're going to have to come shallow, though. So basically, we're just driving to this little blue dot here to drop off the seals. Shouldn't take us too long to get there. Not my favorite mission.
Sonar lost contact. Sierra 1, last bearing 2, 0, 6.
Con, sonar reports minefield ahead.
All right, so they have a minefield up ahead. Direct front. It's way out there, though. So we do have sonar. This panel here, I'm pretty sure this panel, it can scan for mines. So we need to find out where this minefield is. There's a mine directly front. But we need to figure out where this minefield is and navigate around it. So we're going to turn to 275.
275. Helm I.
This minefield might extend. Oh, there's another mine. So it might extend all the way, like, we might have to go all the way around it. Whoops.
229. Helm
Didn't mean
I.
to do that.
Come left to 274. Helm I. Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 4, bearing 135.
So we are going to
Con
keep
helm,
compressing time.
steady course.
Find out where this minefield is.
Con, sonar reports minefield
Yep.
ahead.
So we still have minefield ahead. So it extends out at least to here. So it could go further.
Come
We'll turn away, see how much more we detect, if we detect any. It's really hard to see them. I don't know if we can. We have to get closer to see the actual mines. There's a couple different types of naval mines used in modern war. There's Captorp mines, which are
Sonar reports minefield ahead.
Encapsulated torpedoes. It's weird. And then there's mines that are just basically big old explosives with sonar systems, and if a submarine or ship passes over them, they'll just explode and release a huge steam bubble that will destroy the keel of a submarine. If you're in shallow waters, yeah, you can drop a very large, several thousand-pound explosive on the seafloor, and basically you have set up a series of microphones or even a pinging sonar that'll wait for some kind of proximity detection to go active and then detonate once the vessel passes above, or use a magnetic detection of some kind. So the old, like, World War II, like, you know, pineapple looking mines, those wouldn't be terribly effective. Modern mines are much smarter. All right, let's turn right to 285. Oh, nope. Okay, I can see them. I don't know if you see them on stream because they're very small. There's one right there, right above my mouse. One right there, right above my mouse. I don't know if you can see them on stream. They're probably too small. So we're going to turn out. I don't think I've ever actually hit a mine in this game, so I'd be curious to see what that does. Yeah, there's one right there. Don't know if you can see it on stream. Probably not. So we're just trying to figure out where the boundaries of this minefield are. Okay, so this one, you can probably see if I zoom in. There's one right here. Right where my mouse is. We'll pause it. Yeah. So they're kind of dotted all over. But this whole port can't be mined because ships have to get in and out somehow. So there's going to be a gap somewhere in the minefield, right? So that's what we're looking for. What we're looking for. So definitely where this Sierra 3 is, there's going to be a gap somewhere up there.
Last bearing 143. Contact is in the baffles. Con sonar regained contact.
Also, modern mines, you can allow friendly ships to pass over them without detonating. I don't know that you'd want to do that. That'd be kind of spooky, but you can do that. You can say, you know, discriminate targets and say, do not target this friendly ship. I'm retracting the towed array because we're getting really, really shallow. We're going to get to a point where we can't actually retract the sonar array. So we're going to just go ahead and retract it so we don't damage it. I think we're past the minefield, but I don't know if you guys can see this. There's a sandbar to our left.
Con, less than 50 feet below the keel.
Press on. We're 50 feet below the keel, but we're good. So we're getting a very, very shallow water. Okay, we're getting a little too close for comfort. We're going to slow down to 8 knots. Come to 150.
8 knots. Maneuvering eye.
So submarines do have a bathymeter. It's a device that they can use to ping down directly below with a pencil beam sonar, a very narrow sonar beam, to see how much water is below them. See how much, before the surface, or the bottom, I should say. So I'm trying to get around the sandbar and hopefully into this blue area. Is what we're doing right now. Now, realistically, the SEALs would probably use some kind of machine, a SEAL delivery vehicle or something to navigate this so that the sub doesn't have to get this close. Because we're only a few thousand yards away. We wouldn't need to park them up, like, all up in the base. They could get there on their own. They have vehicles that can help them. Yeah. Or just swim. I don't know that we'd want to put a $4 billion submarine in these conditions.
Make depth 200 feet. Dive I.
Okay, I'm a little bit lost because we've kind of overshot.
At 200 feet. Dive I.
Come right to 1
Oh,
0
nope,
full
nope, nope, nope.
helm I. Come left to 2 1 6 helm I.
So we passed the minefield, but I don't know that we did actually.
Come left to 1 8 3 helm I.
So we're gonna come back around.
Con helm. Make turns for 1 0 knots. Maneuvering I.
So yeah, we're trying to find our way into this blue circle. We ran into some mines earlier. We had to skirt around those, but I guess we were supposed to
Less than 50 feet
turn
below the keel.
at some point.
Make depth 150 feet. Dive I. Con, less than 50 feet below the keel.
We're good, we're good. Okay, I guess this is the way we're supposed to go. I'm messed up a little bit. Let's reduce our speed, come up to 100 feet.
Make turns for 8 knots. Maneuvering I.
Con, dive at 100 feet. Dive I.
Come left to 0 9 0 helm I.
All right, this should put us on the course we need. Quick. Hope everyone's doing well tonight, though. I haven't played this game in a long time. It's a game I very much enjoy. Tomorrow we will be playing probably some Phasmophobia. Maybe some Walking Dead Michonne. I don't know exactly yet. Don't exactly know what we're doing. All right, let's go. We got the SEALs in the SEAL delivery area. Yeah? So let's slow down.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Let's come up to
49 feet. Dive I.
SEAL delivery depth. All right, Spec Ops team is away. So we've delivered the SEALs. I really don't like these missions. I kind of wish they would remove them from the game. Yulin in flames. Military installations in and around Yulin, China have sustained extensive damage in what has been called a series of commando raids by U.S. Special Forces. With no signs of diminishing, these raids continue to hamper local Chinese operations. So yeah. We've definitely seen that recently in the Ukraine war. They call them partisans. The Ukrainian partisans are Ukrainian special forces that have been doing a lot of behind enemy line missions. So yeah, special forces are quite a potent force. Return immediately to Guam, Northern Marianas for repairs and replenish. So we only have our 8 torpedoes. The 8 torpedoes that we came with is all we have. So yeah, we definitely need to return to resupply. I think we're gonna end stream here. Oh, I think we're gonna end stream here. So let's do that real fast. Let me switch scenes, switch memes. Hello. Let's find a friendo to raid, shall we? Hope everyone's doing well. Again, we will be streaming tomorrow and Saturday. Saturday, we will be finishing up The Walking Dead Season 4 for sure. I think we're going to finish the Michonne episode either Saturday morning before or Saturday or tomorrow. We'll see. So either tomorrow we'll finish up Michonne's missions or we'll start Michonne's missions before we do episode 4. Let's find a friendo to raid. Do hang out for some channel points. There's some new channel redeems that you can avail yourselves of. All right, let's go ahead and get this raid started. We're gonna go ahead and raid our friend Slick here. He was in here earlier, and he's doing some Call of Duty Rebirth. We will be playing the new Call of Duty, well, the old new Call of Duty, the remake of Modern Warfare 2 here in a few weeks, friends. So we're gonna keep doing Phasmophobia. We're gonna keep doing spooky games. I actually want to play The Quarry sometime this month, but keep in mind we will be doing other games. We'll be doing some more first-person shooters. We have done a little bit of Call of Duty Vanguard on stream, but not too much. We've played through a lot of the Call of Duty single players as well on stream. So let's go ahead and say hello to Slick. I hope everybody enjoyed. We will continue with Coldwaters at some point. I don't think I'll play it as much as I used to, but we will indeed continue with Coldwaters. Again, hope everybody had a good time. Feel free to hop into the Discord. Like I said, hopefully we'll be watching some Bleach next week, maybe? We do watch some movies in there. Again, thanks so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out. And we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Later.